Good morning, and welcome to my 100-day project. And this week's video here will be about week 6, what I have been doing here in week 6. I will make day 1 right now, and then there will be small clips of the rest of the week. If you just have stumbled upon my video here and was thinking about what is it talking about, what is the 100-day project, go back and look at week 1 or the first day. There's a special video for the first day, and there I will explain more about it. And all I mentioned of things, there will be links here under the little word more under the video. But shortly told, it's a worldwide thing where anybody can do whatever they fancy to do at 100 days in a row, and it begins the 22nd of February. And this is the 8th time I participate in this, and participate. I do it by myself, and there are some hashtags, and you can find them under the video here also. And you can go in and look and see what other people perhaps are doing. You can do, you can sing a song every day, you could paint a painting, you can draw a drawing, you can, do whatever you want to do. But this year I have decided to go the circle way, because all last year it has been about circles, and there is a story with me and circles, I think. So that is why I have this round box you can see here. That is where I keep my previous small circles in. So I am going the mixed media way, so I will be using fabrics, papers, smaller bits and bobs, and stitching and gluing and whatever I fancy to do on this 11 centimeter in diameter circles. So they will just live here for now, but not soon. They will be up to here, so I will have to figure out something to do with my box here. So away with that. I will just place it here. But this week I am going green, really green. I have this another little box here, a wooden one, where I yesterday filled my materials in what I will be working with this week. So there I have it in a small format, and I can see now it's the 6th week. I pick fewer and fewer pieces, because week 1 I had a big pile of things, and I ended up not using many of it. So that is what I will be picking up here, all these green things I have found here and there in my house, and away with that. So that is my pile, and I think I want to use this coated copper wire for some circles of some kind. I don't know quite yet how I will do them, but I'll see. So these are the materials for this week here. So at the end here I will just say my name is Lisbeth, and I'm a Danish abstract mixed media artist who likes to do many different things. And I have divided my content up here on my channel with playlists, so look for what interests you. If you're into mixed media, look at playlists where that word is in the text of the playlist. Or if you're interested only in stitching, look for what have the word stitching into it. Or if you're interested in bookmaking or jelly printing or whatever it would be, look for that and skip the other ones. But I like to combine many of the things I do, that's perhaps why it's called mixed media. But nothing you have learned is, you can always use things different ways and in different as different components in what you're doing, and that is what I like. As the last thing, I would just say I have a Ko-fi account, so if you want to support my little Danish channel, and you're more than welcome, but don't feel obligated in any way. But let us get going with this hush green. I won't say it's a favorite color of mine, but spring here will be here soon, hopefully, so I thought, why not give it a go with this really green color and see what I can come up with. Today is day 36 and it is the 29th of March. So here is my watercolor substrate, and don't ask me where I got them from. I bought them locally in Denmark. I'm sure you can find things like this on the big internet. So let me look here in my pile what I can come up with. Oh, I really like this stripe here, so I think I will use that. And here beside me I just have an old book I can use when I start gluing. Oh yeah, I also really like this piece. It is a commercial board fabric. I really like that. So I need something there of a kind. And sorry, my fingers are a little greenish, but that's because here, just before I started filming, I was spraying with some dye sprays on some tissue paper, and I think all these green fabrics here got me going green on the tissue paper also, but I have washed them, and apparently I have to wear it off. So yeah. No. And this one here is perhaps better. So something like this. You can remove them a little. And yeah, I think I will glue these two on first, and then I will figure out how to place this. So the way I do it is sometimes if it is a big piece of fabric, I put glue on the substrate and lay it on, and if it's a small piece of fabric, I put glue on the fabric. And I just, for this challenge, I use a glue stick, and that's because of the drying time, and it ain't going to be museum's pieces I'm making, so that is why. And it takes no time to dry, and if I were using matte medium, it would take some time to dry, but you can do that. And I have no troubles with putting glue on my fabric in here, because it is minimal how much stitching I will be doing. And then this piece here. Just overlap it there. And you have some time, you can pick it up and move it around before it dries. Not much time, but a little time you have. And right now it has to dry a little more. But I think it is quite impossible for me to see where I want to put this, as long as this is have this format as it has. So I would rather cut it clean. Then it is much easier to see how to place the strip. Because now when I have cut the overhang off here, my substrate has that shape it is going to be. And here I take care of so I not forget to cut in the watercolor circle. So I take it a little slower than I usually cut. And if there's something peeking out, you can always go in again here and nurse it a little more. There. Away with that. And I think this here I could save, because this I could use. I think this is too small, so away with that. So now I have my substrate here, and that looks quite fine. And there I had this piece here. So since there are much more white here, I think I perhaps will let it go this way here. You could also let it go this way, but then I will cover up so much of this green, so I think I would let it go this way. So again, I will just, and I don't know what this is. It is a strange piece of fabric, because I can see it is weaved. The warp and the weft isn't the same color, and that is why it gets these light frayed edges there. And down with that. Yeah. Whoops. Away with that. And then this has to dry, so I can cut it off also. I talked about using this copper wire here. It is coated copper wire. And I think if you have something round, it could be your glue stick or anything that is round and a little bigger. You can do it like this here. Turn it around a couple of times. You decide how many. I think that is enough. Find the scissors that must cut in that wire here. Cut it off. Take it out there. And keep your hands on where you started. There. And then you take the end here and you just whip it around. Like this, and now I come to the end here, where the thread, the copper wire began. So now I have been all the way around, and you can continue and just go until you have no more left, and do it like this, and then you have this lovely round thing. And you can see here I've already made a couple of others in other sizes. And then you can say, where do I want to place this? And I often like to place my, you can call this perhaps a focal point, but I like to place them where things are overlapping each other. So I think I will place mine there. You could also, you could also do something like that. That is also an option. So to play around with, make a couple of them so you have for the next days, because I know I will be putting these in here all week. But I have it now here, and I can see this is buckling a little, and that is because it's still damp. So in the real world I would put it under a heavy book and wait an hour or so, and then it would be dry, but I can't wait an hour now. So away with this. So again, I have taken my lovely mercerized cotton, and it's the nearest color I can get. I don't have many green colors because, yeah, green isn't something I'm grabbing for as the first thing. But now here, I think I'm sitting here and getting in a little spring happy moment, or yeah. I know why. Yeah, and I will just do some overcasting, and I will just place it here and hold it with my thumb. I can tell you why I'm not very keen on blue and green, and that is because as a child I had natural red hair, not head, and all my parents and other people has that opinion that when you had red hair you should wear green and blue, and that is why today I don't wear green and blue. That is not my colors. That's not what I gravitate to. So instead of putting a knot here on my thread, I will just be using a little piece of tape there. So now it's sitting there, and this piece is also sitting there. So I just pre-poke there. And come up and go down in the same hole, or as near as I can. There. And pre-poke. Yeah. Down. Pre-poke. There. And I will just continue that all the way around. And then it would sit there for good. I will be back when I have done that. So now it is sitting there and it won't run anywhere. But I think I need a little stitching somewhere, and there's a white space there, or there. I could also have done it, but I will just make a couple of French knots. So that is all. Some small ones, like to drizzle them on. And I've just taken tape and secured my thread again. And here I will turn so many times around, so even though I'm going down in the same hole, my knot isn't going to disappear into the hole. They aren't so big. I could have taken and made my thread double. That way they would have been bigger. But whoops, and now no knots here on the back. Thanks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that was counting in Danish from 1 to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoops, and again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Down and keep the tension here. There. But I will make some more, and then I will say this one is done. I couldn't help myself, so I just placed a small one there and this little cluster there. So I will write here on the back day 36, and it was the 29th of March 2026. And I will place it under something heavy so it could be more flat. So this was the beginning of a very colorful week, I think. But as they say, green is good for your eyes, and I really hope that. So I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Hi. I have been up here a little early and already been doing this. So I will hurry up and write here on the back. Day 37, and it is the 13th of March 2026. And I know I write it a little different than some of you do. But here it is. Again, my copper circle there, and a line of back stitches and some fern stitches there. Just a little extra there, and I'm quite satisfied. So see you again tomorrow. Hi. Hi, and welcome to day, oh, what day is it? Yeah, 38. And we can quickly write it. And it is the last day in this month. Oops, 26. I don't know why I write 24. So there it is. So this is how this piece ended up. Again, my copper ring here and a blanket which we'll stitch in the middle, or nearly in the middle. It is what happens when you eyeball it. But a quite simple one, I think, but I really like it. You could have done many other things, but this is how this ended up. So I will see you again tomorrow for a new and exciting one, perhaps. Hi. Good morning and welcome to day 39. And today is the 1st of April, and I ain't joking. I don't know if you in other countries had that thing, but with the 1st of April, you make jokes and with each other, and often they put some crazy story in our news and in our newspaper, and they are crazy funny stories, but not more than that. It perhaps could have been correct, but I ain't joking. I am going to do this today. So I found this little snip I really like to have in here, and let me see. I also have this one with all these bubbles on, so that could also be nice. Yeah, too much the same, too short. Too blue, yeah, many things are. This here, this one I think I like. So away with these here. Yeah, I think I like this composition here with these three papers, not papers, fabrics. So again I will glue them down as I have glued on all the 38 other days, so you don't need to see me do that. So I will be back when I glued it down and cut it clean, and then I can decide what next to do. So the fabric is glued down, and I found a little snippet of this one I put over there. I like something to break it up, and I have these two here I made earlier, and I was thinking about placing them either that way or that way, and I can't quite decide, but I also need to do some stitching here, and if I place them like this, I can't do anything there, but I can do a line of straight stitches down there, and I think I will go for that. But I can also place it there and do the same but I could also do it that way instead. Yeah, I think I will think a little, but I will sew them down exactly as I have done all the other times. I know this one will be sitting there, so I can start with that one. So again, I will just place it and put my thumb on it and poke a hole. And go down in the same hole here. And I can see I have a knot here on my thread, and that wasn't supposed to be, but now it is there, so it will stay there. And again, I will just go all the way around. Yeah. Go down here like that. But I will show it to you when I'm done and decided where to put this one here. I decided to place them there, and instead of this long line of straight stitches, I will do some big crosses over there instead. That is what I think will look better. You know, you have the artistic right to figure something new out. You think looks better and change your mind. I will make them a little high and narrow if I am able to do that. And I think I am. There. Down here. So like that. But I will do it all the way until here, and then I can show it to you. And you can see I can bend and not break it, but they are sitting there for good now. Done with the stitching, and I really like this one. So here again I will write day 39, and it was the 1st of April 2026. And yeah, I can see I need a piece of tape there. We can't have any loose ends. There. So all is fine now. And I will put it under pressure again so it can be more flat or stay flat. Yeah. This week is going so fast, I think, but see you again tomorrow. Hi, and welcome to day 40, and it is the 2nd of April, and I have already written it here on the back. And here in this piece, I just make a circle with blanket stitches. And the reason why I can get this circle so even round is because I have a tin plate like this here. And then I just place it here. For instance, I think it was this size. And then I pre-poke the holes, and then I get a nice even round circle. So that's why. But quite simple one, but I think I like it. I just wanted to show you this tissue paper here. I don't know if you remember, a couple of days ago I had green fingers, and this is why I sprayed it with some different dyings through a placemat and got this very nice pattern. And there was so much color on, so I could flip the other paper over and get the opposite effect here. So I will be using that for something, not here in this project, but that is why my fingers were a little greenish. But bye for today and see you again tomorrow. Good day and hi. This is day 41 and I can quickly write it here. I want it this way. And it is how much? The 3rd of April 2026. So here we go. Very green piece of fabric, this one, and I haven't ended up not using it very much this year. It was a piece of this here, and there was already printed some kind of circle there. So I followed that lead and placed my copper wire there, and nearly a full circle of chain stitches, and I make my thread double because chain stitches can quite easily become, if you pull too much in the thread, it will just be like 2 small stitches beside each other. So to give it a little more here, I took double thread of my darker green, and I think that works very well here. So the second last day here in this week, so I will see you tomorrow, and I will make the last one here in this week, and then I think perhaps my eyes has got enough green. I already begin a little, and perhaps you can recognize this piece. It was in one of the other weeks. I think I've got many of these leftovers from my friend Tina, and they fit together because they are different parts of the same piece of fabric. But I will just play a little more and see if I can come up with a design I like. There and there. And yeah, there's some, that could be for fun if I could get that in there. But I will place them something like this, and then I will glue them on my substrate as I have done all the other days, and then I will be back. This really looks a little strange, like a mashup of leftovers, and indeed it is leftovers. Perhaps it will be a little nicer to look at when I've got this hangover cut off. But else I will have to do some stitching that binds all these things together. All these different fabrics together. So really take care and not cut into the watercolor substrate. Let me see how strange it looks now. Yeah, perhaps that wasn't so bad after all. So I think I will just do a line down here of feather stitches and place my copper wire circle there. And do I need a big one or a small one? Yeah, let me see. I will start making this size here. Whoops, and it slid off, so I will have to start again. I think it's because I haven't opened this bottle here. There's some plastic coating outside. I think this must be enough. So I got it here and cut that off here and just whip it around. I think it is quite nice to make these rings here. Perhaps I could use it in some other work. Perhaps you can put several of them side by side and make it like a mesh. Yeah, you think of a lot of things when you're sitting here working. So I will just cut this off with my scissor that was cut in everything, and there. With that spool. Yeah, that fits exactly. So I will sew it on here like I have done in the all the other ones I have shown you, and then I will be back figuring out what next to do. So it looks like this, and I decided to make a row here of feather stitches, and making feather stitches onto paper, I find it easiest to pre-poke the center line, if you can say so, because that's where you're coming up from underneath, and that is why I like to have a pre-poked hole there. So I will just make a line of them. And continue all the way down. And then I go from left to right and right to left. So I am up here with the thread, and I know I should come up here. So I go down, and then you can easily poke this way because you can see where you hit. But when you come up here on the back, that is nice to have a pre-poked hole. So there, and here again I will just go down and come up in the pre-poked hole here on the back. There, go down, come up in the pre-poked hole. There, and down there, and up here, there, and so on and so on. And you can, of course, vary this stitch, because you can make that leg there as shorter or as long as you like, or the curve of it as in which angle you like. So they would look different depending on what you do. If you want them all a little different, like I'm doing, or try to make them totally even, that's up to you. But I really like this stitch here. And if you're into flowers, you can again use that as a branch, or perhaps like make small French knots here at the end, and instead of going left, right, you can go left, right, and yeah, you can do many things with this stitch here. But I will go all the way down here to the end, and then I will say this is done. So done with all the stitching, so I will just write it here what it is, day 42, and it is 4th of April 2026. Ta-da! And this is how it looks. Really like this, and I like these stitches. And even though it is some very different pattern fabrics, I think it works very well. So now I will just clean up my table. It looks like somebody has dropped a bomb, and then I will take some close-ups and say a proper goodbye to you. So I will just empty my wooden box here from all the green ones and put them back where all my other leftovers are. And now I am ready for next week. I will have to figure out what color I want to use, because I certainly don't want any more greens. I need a muted, nice color that will ease my mind a little instead of this happy green one. So away with that. And here I have my round box, and they can go in there and there. Whoopty. And then I am ready for next week or tomorrow. So here they are, all of them. And I just got thinking about, there's another YouTuber, Jerry Bellini. She always talks about Happy Yellow Monday. But this must be Happy Green Monday this year. And it is really, my eyes are popping here. And yeah, I have done it. And I won't say I dislike it, but it's not my favorite color. But it is most certain somebody's favorite color. I'm sure of that. But it has been fun working with this copper wire thread and making these circles here. So all in all, I think that they look great together. So I hope you have learned some tips and tricks, and you can see the possibilities in using things that perhaps were meant for something else, and see that you really doesn't need much materials to can make a lot of different things. I'm so lucky I have all these printed fabrics from my friend, but you can certainly dye or print your own fabrics. There are many ways you can do that, by watercolor or diluted acrylic paint with a textile medium in intense inks. And yeah, there are many ways. And then there are, of course, the whole chapter about onion skins and leaves, and yeah, you name it. There's a big world of things that you can do. And that is exciting about being alive and doing all these things that I think is interesting. Yeah, but that was just a side note. But if you have been inspired and if you like my video, please give my video a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing my little Danish channel. It's going very slowly these days here. Not much is happening, and I can't figure out why, because about Christmas time it went boom and a lot of new viewers, but right now it is very quiet. And yeah, it isn't the easiest thing to be a little Danish channel. You have to work twice, third as hard as if I had been in English or an American speaking channel. But so it must be. I keep on doing these videos here for as long as it makes me happy and I like doing it. I will stop the day I don't find it interesting or pleasuring anymore. But I also really like to teach, and Denmark is a small country. Yeah, no, enough for me, blah, blah, blah. I will just round this video up and say, please, please be creative, and please, please play. And stay safe and creative. That's the main part here. And also, please, please be nice to everybody. That's the only thing we ordinary people can do in these crazy times. So I will say bye-bye for now. And with this project, I will see you again next Monday. Farvel, farvel.